Alright, this is going to be a little bit different of a Minecraft video. It's going to be another live commentary. But I wanted to, and once again, like one of my first ones is going to be me drilling in a mine. However, this one's going to be a little bit different as I wanted to talk about a game that has become infamous over the past year, I'd say. A year and a half more like. And that is Pokemon Sword and Shield. I have bashed this game in the past, and what happened was, just kind of sparked this video, is that I got into a Twitter, a few pretty heated arguments with people. Not heated, but like, I made a statement about Sword and Shield not being a good game, and then a lot of people got mad at me for saying that, and then I made one point about the Sword and Shield being a really short game compared to some other RPGs. It clocks about 16 hours. The game, if you want some games to compare that to, Fire Emblem Three Houses, which came out like a month before Pokemon, is 140 hours of unique story gameplay. And a lot of the people took this at face value and said just because the game is short doesn't mean it's bad, or I get more out of Pokemon through collecting and shit. To address that point really quick, yes, obviously, if you like Pokemon, you're gonna play the game, obviously. The point was, it was comparing RPGs and their playtime. And playtime is one of the few tangible factors we can use to really, or like story time, I guess, or how long main story takes, is one of the few tangible factors we can use to assess whether or not a game is worth $60. And in Pokemon Sword and Shield, it's at $60. It's a 16-hour game, and if you ask most people, that's not good. If you're paying $60 for only 16 hours of enjoyment for a game, then that's way below what the market is for a game that's priced $60. And second off, for a lot of games, a lot of RPGs, not just Pokemon, people play those even after they beat it the first time. Like, you think I played Persona 5 once and I was done with it? No, I played Persona 5 3 more times, and then I played Persona 5 Royal 2 more times. Like, I put over 500 hours in Persona 5 between the two games alone. You think I beat Xenoblade Chronicles of Finish and I was done with it? No, I've beaten the game twice now. You think I haven't played all 4 routes of Fire Emblem Three Houses? Because I have. Like, I get more enjoyment from those games because they're good games, and I come back to them. They have memorable stories. Like, you can't just make that point about people getting a lot more enjoyment out of Pokemon and totally disregard how people enjoy the other games. Why is there a villager down here? Did you guys hear that? The fuck? So anyway, we're gonna get into this. So I already covered. I did write a whole essay on this. I wrote a whole comprehensive review of Pokemon Sword and Shield. I'm gonna try and paraphrase the best I can. But if you want the full document, I am gonna link it in the description, as well as I'm gonna link my Twitter so you guys can see what I've been a part of, I suppose. Sorry, I gotta focus really quick. What the fuck? Why is there a wanderer down here? That's so dumb. But whatever. I hear a skeleton. Okay, anyway. That's so annoying. Stop it. This has gone not as planned, but we're gonna work through it. So I'm gonna reiterate, for this review of Pokemon Sword and Shield, it's gonna be treated as an RPG. Pokemon is marketed as an RPG, So therefore, I'm gonna... Oh god. Pokemon is marketed as an RPG. So therefore, I'm gonna review it as an RPG. Pokemon is the highest grossing RPG in the world. So therefore... What the fuck are you doing in here? This is so weird. So therefore, I'm gonna rate it as an RPG. Let me just get to this real quick. Why is there a cave here? Get out of here. I'm not going to be treating it as some sort of collectathon or as some sort of online battler because it is an RPG. That Pokemon is an RPG. And I'm going to assess whether or not it is a fulfilling RPG experience that is worth $60. And because it is worth $60, I'm going to compare it to other RPGs that cost $60 as well and see if it holds up. It's that simple. For those of you that got enjoyment from Pokemon, from the collectathon aspect, from capturing all the Pokemon, or perfectly IV training or EV training your Pokemon to partake in the competitive online battles, then good for you. I'm happy for you. I'm glad you're able to enjoy the Pokemon game and get the most out of it. That being said, we are here to find out if Pokemon is a fulfilling RPG experience. I'm going to be grading Pokemon on what I think are the most important factors for an RPG. And these kind of factors are going to be weighted. The heavily weighted categories, which are going to be worth 10 points, are going to be the narrative, the characters, the writing, and the gameplay. And then I have 3 smaller categories that are weighted less, and these are all going to be worth 5 points. And these are going to be setting, graphics, and sound design. With all this out of the way, let's get into it. First, I would like to set up a prologue leading up to Sword and Shield's anticipated release. For those of you guys who don't know what happened, is that Sword and Shield Pokemon was making its jump to console for the first time, and many people were excited for it to come to Switch. However, in a review, the developers said that they're going to cut a lot of the Pokemon from the game to make the other parts of Pokemon Sword and Shield better. Basically cutting on one area to focus more on one area, which was meant by harsh criticism from the fans and sparked the whole hashtag Game Freak Lied movement that happened. Now, for me personally, I did not care that the Pokemon being cut, as I had long thought that Pokemon Sword and Shield, or not Pokemon Sword and Shield, but Pokemon as a franchise was very lacking and could definitely use the improvement. So I was welcome to the changes. Sorry, I'm not attached to my Pokemon as much as some people are. That's just how I am. I do have favorite Pokemon, granted, but none of them made the game. But I didn't really care that much. And then when Sword and Shield launched, it pretty much split the whole Pokemon community in half. There was half people who still like Pokemon because of nostalgia and thinks it holds up compared to the Western Pokemon games. And there's the other people who will point to the lack of Pokemon or the fact that Pokemon's been using the same formula for over 20 years. I criticize Pokemon for its... I criticize and still give Pokemon a bad rap for its lackluster RPG elements that altogether do not make it a fulfilling RPG experience, and we are going to delve into that right now. The first category, as I said before, is going to be the narrative. Pokemon Sword and Shield's main story is shallow, even for a Pokemon game. I think if you've played a Pokemon game before, you're not gonna say the story is amazing. In fact, I think the best story in a Pokemon game comes from Pokemon Black and White, and even then, I would grade that story as about a 7 out of 10. Anyway, in Pokemon Sword and Shield, our protagonist is an 11-year-old kid from a small town who, with his rival, have a chance encounter. What the fuck? Is that a minecart? Anyway, has a chance encounter with the legendary Pokemon. And after this, he is gifted a Pokemon, and then goes on his way to conquer the Pokemon League and become the new champion of the Galar region. That's all. That's it for a while. However, throughout the story, you do end up helping out a researcher named Sonia from time to time, and what you two are trying to do is uncover the legends of the Sword and Shield. But instead of like exploring like some ruins or traversing a dungeon, like something cool like that, what you do instead is you play 20 questions of her, and then she kind of figures it out. So that ultimately leads nowhere. You find out that instead of being people, the legendary Sword and Shield was, you know, Pokemon. There's also an evil team in the game, quote unquote, and they go by Team Yell, and they will minorly inconvenience you throughout the story, and that's all I got to say about them. And then the big bad of the game is the chairman of Pokemon League, and you don't even like unravel his evil plan throughout the story. He kind of just like reveals it to you like accidentally because he was talking to Champion at the time, and you just happen to be there, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm evil now." In the last 2 hours of the game, and he unleashes like an unstoppable beast, and you and your rival have to and you and your rival go out to try and recover the legendary Pokemon Sword and Shield. You and your rival recover the wild relics and then make way back to fight the beast, where it's already dispatched a champion. And so you and your rival take on the beast and are struggling, and you're not doing good. But then you desperately whip out the rusted sword and rusted shield, and the legendary Pokemon come to your aid. Together, you guys defeat the beast, and your character is heralded as a hero. The next day, you take on the champion and you win. And then you become the champion of the league, and Leon retires. That's it. That was the story. Overall, the plot is shallow, and it's not immersive. Nothing important really happens until the last 2 hours of the game. And admittedly, it is a functional story. If anything, it's poorly paced and not entertaining. Like I already said, it's functional. It's not a horrible story. It's not 1 out of 10 or 2 out of 10. But the story itself is short. Like I said, this is a 16-hour game to get through the story. And this is a 16-hour game, which is sad because for this being a 16-hour game and being full price, that's horrible. But then you consider the games in the DS 10 years ago were longer. Like that, come on, Game Freak. Like, come on. And it's not even fair compared to the older Pokemon games, because you know what? Those are worth it because they didn't cost $60. If now the Pokemon costs $60, I gotta compare it to other RPGs. So, what am I gonna compare it to? Well, obviously I'm gonna compare it to Fire Emblem Three Houses, which came out a month earlier rather. And you know what the story kind of Fire Emblem Three Houses has? Well, I would say about 8. Well, believe it or not, Fire Emblem Three Houses is 8 times the amount of story that God damn it, fuck, that Pokemon Sword and Shield has. So overall, I'm giving the story, the narrative, the plot, however you want to call it, and Pokemon Sword and Shield a 4 out of 10. It's like I said, it's not terrible, and there's no glaring holes in it. It's just not entertaining, and it's it's poorly paced. I can think of worse stories in a lot of games. Characters. The characters in this game aren't very interesting, complex, or compelling. Instead of having a character arc, most characters will have a sort of a character bump, which after said bump, they will lead to their final destination of being a character. Your rival Hop, yes, his name is Hop, believe it or not, has a slight inferiority complex that makes him slightly depressed throughout some part of the story. Throughout a minor chunk, I should say. This ultimately isn't handled very well, and it feels rushed. The researcher Sonia is actually a professor's assistant, and she's tasked with finding out the mysteries of the Galar region. However, and then after this, she becomes a Pokemon professor. Cool, Sonia, you did it. Oh, that is. After this, you have your rival Bede, the next character I'm going to bring up. Bede, unlike Hop, has a superiority complex. You see, they're like mirrors, kind of. If you want to try to be poetic. There we go. However, this fate quickly fades away when he's fired by the chairman from being his apprentice. And then he's taken in by the Fairy-type gym leader and to train to become the next Fairy-type gym leader because she's elder. Next up, you have your other rival, Marnie, and she doesn't really do too much. She doesn't really go for anything. I know a lot of people love Marnie. Marnie is also, I just like Marnie because I think she's I just like her aesthetic. That's really the only reason I like her. But in terms of the actual character growth, she doesn't really do anything. She gets humbled in the champion tournament where you beat her, and then she resigns herself to becoming the next Dark type gym leader. She does have the Team Yell, which is her fan club, pretty much. And she kind of just tells them to calm down, and they do, and that's really all that Team Yell is. Elsewhere, let's look at Leon, the champion. Leon's actually one of my favorite champions of the series because he actually does stuff. Unlike most of the champions, I know, weird concept. You've talked to him multiple times, throughout the story, and he gives you advice and stuff. And the final battle of the champion is one of the best champion battles in the series, in my opinion. So he's solid. He knows he's the best, and he's proud to be the best, and he just wants the best for the Galar region. And then we have Chairman Rose, the antagonist of this game, who doesn't become evil until the last 2 hours of the game. And even when you do thwart his evil plan, he doesn't get arrested or anything. He just kind of leaves. And yeah, basically his whole deal was that Galar wasn't going to be able to survive in the next 1,000 years, and so they had to postpone a championship battle in order to do this thing, and which ended up being a disaster. So I don't know what they were thinking there. His evil scheme is again poorly executed. Same deal with Bede and Hop. I would say all 3 of these characters were poorly executed and rushed. Yeah. Like the story, these characters are not the worst in the series. I can definitely think of other games in the Pokemon series that have a worse set of characters. But when you price your game at $50, again, I'm gonna compare you to other games. I'm gonna compare you to other RPGs that cost $60. Once again, I'm gonna draw comparisons to Fire Emblem Three Houses, which came out again a month before Pokemon did, and has, I can think of at least 20 characters in Fire Emblem Three Houses off the top of my head that are better characters than all these Pokemon characters. So characters, 5 out of 10. Once again, they're not terrible. In fact, I like one. I like a couple of them, but once again, they're not the most compelling in the world. They're fine. The writing is bad. Okay, it's not witty, or entertaining, or memorable. It's just bland and shallow. The writing doesn't highlight any character strengths or weaknesses, and it doesn't enforce a narrative in any way either. That's it. There's really nothing to talk about here because it's not terrible enough writing to really bash, but it's not good enough writing to really praise and go into praise or go into depth into it. It's perfectly just okay. I would say more on the side of bad than okay. So it's gonna get a 4 out of 10. Same thing with the characters and narrative. Writing has never been a strong thing in the Pokemon series, but I would argue this is the worst writing in the entire series. Legitimately. And once again, compared to Fire Emblem Three Houses, the writing doesn't even begin to compare. Gameplay. So Pokemon Sword and Shield is a turn-based RPG. The gameplay is solid and works really well. It has an element type system of certain types of Pokemon being strong against others and weak against others. Each Pokemon also has stats which enhances its abilities in battle. Sword and Shield introduces a Dynamax mechanic, which, when active, makes your Pokemon really giant, makes your Pokemon giant, and increases their health. What the fuck? Dude, I don't know where these weird sounds come from in Minecraft. They're like insane. Anyway. Dynamaxing also gives your Pokemon access to max moves. These super powerful techniques can do a multitude of things, such as enhancing your Pokemon's stats, or changing the weather. Dynamaxing is a solid mechanic and works well. Gameplay has always been the strong suit of Pokemon. It's been a selling point. Like, between the turn-based RPGs and then capturing the Pokemon, the gameplay is a selling point for Pokemon. But it's not like it's super strong. The gameplay isn't Pokemon's gameplay is nothing extravagant, but it's not bad anyway. It's good. Granted, it hasn't really been innovated outside of the new game-to-game mechanic, and the luck factor can be infuriating sometimes, but it hasn't regressed at all, and that's kind of what I'm trying to get at for this gameplay. For this gameplay section. So gameplay, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. It's good. The gameplay is good. I don't have much bad to say about it. Setting/environment. The setting of the game is in the Galar region, based off of real-world Britain. Game Freak incorporates many kinds of environments to keep the player interested in their surroundings, from lush forests to dark caverns. Most of the things are unique and fun to explore. However, there aren't many ways to explore these areas. The only part of the map that offers in-depth exploration is the wild area. It's a big place to explore, but not as big as many think it is. For comparison, think of one area in Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild that you can map out via one of the towers. I would say the wild area isn't even half of one of those areas. Maybe not even a quarter. Setting a Sword and Shield is good, not great, and many other RPGs could offer you a lot more in terms of exploration and intriguing environments. So overall, I'm going to give the environment/setting a 3 out of 5. Once again, it's good, not great. But it's definitely not the problem with this game. Graphics/animation. Listen, I'm not gonna waste your time. We all know the jokes about Pokemon Sword and Shield having trees that look like they came out of a PS2 game. We're gonna get rid of. Yeah, let's just get rid of the arrows. Why not? We could also talk about how the rocks look like they're made of foam, but I'm not going to do that. We know the graphics are bad, let's just get past it. But really outside the trees, the graphics aren't terrible. They're okay. I would say they're definitely on the lower end, but they're fine. They're bad fine, but they could be way better. They could also be a tiny bit worse. It's almost 1 out of 5 for graphics as a whole. The animation is also okay. It hasn't improved in the past 7 years, but it works. However, compared to many other RPGs, Sword and Shield's graphics and animation doesn't begin to compare again. Once again, I'm gonna draw comparisons to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Fire Emblem Three Houses. Even in the Fire Emblem Three Houses maps that you do the XCOM battles in, and you go in, those look better than what Sword and Shield offers, which is stupid, because that's not even because exploring isn't even the point of the Fire Emblem Three Houses. And Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild looks way better. Like I would say Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is probably the second best looking game on the Switch in terms of graphics. Really only beat out by what I think is Dragon. The only game that I think beats it out in terms of graphics is Dragon Quest XI Definitive Edition. Now let's go into sound design / music. Now I'm gonna probably make some people mad at this, but I think the sound design sucks in this game. It works, but it also struggles to send home the feeling of hitting a vital attack or being in a harsh environment. Music is also underwhelming, which is surprising because Pokemon is known to have great music. That's been yet another one of Pokemon's selling points. That's great music, but in this game it just didn't. I can only remember one track, and listening back to some of these compositions, it's not appealing. Compared to other RPGs, Sword and Shield sound design and music is okay. I wouldn't say it compares well. However, I know that most Pokemon fans do like the Pokemon Sword. I do know that most consumers do like the Pokemon Sword and Shield music. So against my own ratings, I am going to give it a slight bump up from a 2 out of 5 to a 3 out of 5. So my overall grade is going to be a 28 out of 55. Sword and Shield barely passes the halfway mark for me. After all this, I would still say Pokemon is a bad game, considering it's priced at $60. That's the problem here. It's not that Pokemon's a bad game. It's an okay game. It's mediocre. Like this is a 5 out of 10 game. Like, in all honesty, that's what Pokemon Sword and Shield is. It's a 5 out of 10 game. But a 5 out of 10 game should not be priced at $60. That's a ripoff. Especially when given that's a ripoff. That's awful. If like Sword and Shield was priced at $30, maybe $40 if you wanted to push it, then I wouldn't have a problem with it. That's really all to say. So that concludes my comprehensive review of Pokemon Sword and Shield, grading it as an RPG. I do think that many of the points I said are valid, but there's a little bit of bias infused into some of these criticisms. Just personally, what I look for, like some people might weigh like gameplay more than I did. Some people might think that characters in this game are slightly better than what I think. But once again, if you play Pokemon for the collectathon aspects or you like the online battles, then good for you. I'm glad that you're enjoying Pokemon in a different way, other than its RPG aspects. But for those of us that are looking for fulfilling RPG experiences, Pokemon is not going to provide it. It just isn't. If you are going to buy Pokemon Sword and Shield, I recommend that you don't. If you're looking to buy Pokemon Sword and Shield because you want an RPG experience, I recommend that your time and money is spent better elsewhere. I'm gonna recommend some RPGs for you guys that are also on the Switch that you can get for $60. That I think are way better games than that provide not just way better games than Pokemon Sword and Shield, but also provide better RPG experiences in Sword and Shield. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Fire Emblem Three Houses, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Dragon Quest XI Definitive Edition, and Octopath Traveler. So anyway, thank you guys for watching, and so anyway, I'm gonna start heading back now. So anyway, I do really appreciate you guys watching, like checking in. I know I haven't uploaded in a while, but the truth is I've been getting ready for college. And some stuff like some real world stuff happened to me as well. And I've also been playing a lot of Among Us on my laptop. And I don't have like an Elgato or anything like that, so I can't record that, or else I would. I do want to record with my friends again. It's probably just be another Minecraft video or maybe an Apex video if Kat and Chandler are able to play. I was also thinking about doing an Overwatch video. What? This llama's still here. That's crazy. Like, why are you still here? Anyway, and then also the other thing with Sean is Fairy Tail. Is Fairy Tail gonna be coming back? I don't know. Like, I don't know if you guys could tell, but I was just a little disappointed. Was that diamond through there? No, okay, this llama was just playing tricks on me. I don't know if you guys could tell, but while I was playing Fairy Tail, like, it was a little under... Whatever, llama, we can stay here. But while I was playing Fairy Tail, it just felt incomplete. I don't know if you guys, like... It just didn't feel finished. And if that's... It just felt weird to play. Like, I'm sure I'm going to come back to it eventually. Because I love Fairy Tail, and nothing new for Fairy Tail is probably ever gonna come out, so I'm probably gonna go back to it soon. But I don't know if I'm gonna upload it because I just don't think I'm enjoying it enough to really like make content out of it. Please be daytime. Please be daytime. I think it is daytime. Yes, it is daytime. No, it's nighttime. God damn it. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys, next time.